bartender was telling me that he just broke up with a young lady. I said, oh, no way. I feel sorry for you, man. I feel for you, man. I've been there, done that, stuff like that before and everything in the past. He said he was madly in love with her and all this and everything. And I was asking him, I said, what did you learn? What can you learn? What have you learned from that situation? He said, oh, I'm grieving right now and everything. I haven't looked at what I've learned. I said, no, look at what you learned. From every relationship you go through, you want to make sure you learn something from it. That's the key thing. You want to have some takeaways from the relationship, or it's going to be a mute point of even being in a relationship. And he said, yeah, I'll have to look at that and everything. I said, yeah. You'll go through the process of grieving process. You'll go through, when you're just breaking up with someone, especially someone that you cared about. So I was telling about it. A young lady, a long time ago, this young lady that I met, and we started dating. I was about 25, she was 21. I will never forget this. And we broke up. We broke up with some foolish stuff, super foolish stuff we broke up about. And it was amazing how I look back and it was like foolish. But anyways, we broke up, and I wanted us to work out and stuff like that. So I was call. I called this girl, I think like 2 months straight. I called this girl, and this is for cell phones too. So I had to call our work phone number, or our home phone. I had to call, or our parents' home phone number. And I called so many times, and she would call. She would pick up, talk a little bit, or maybe hang the phone up on you. Either or she would do. Or she'll call, let's eat dinner, and I'm like a dog with his tongue out, ready to, oh yeah, let's do it. Oh, absolutely, I'll be there and all this and all that. And the whole time I didn't realize this young lady was actually seeing someone else. Actually, I didn't realize that until later on, and everything. So we went out to dinner and this and that and stuff. We go out every now and then and stuff. And I thought, okay, possibly we may get back and all that. But then I found out later. This is later. I found out that she was seeing someone else. I'm like, no way. So then I moved away, changed my phone number and all this. And I will never forget, I moved back to Georgia Southern to work on my master's degree. And I won't forget, she called out of the blue. I stopped calling her. I didn't call her for like 2 months straight. And I will never forget, she called me up. I will never forget that. And she called me personally and called because she had my phone number. She called my parents' home. And she told my dad we're soulmates. She told my dad. And my dad was like, soulmates? I said, oh, okay. And my dad said, well, give me your number and I'll give it to my son. And I will never forget, my dad called me up and said, yeah, so-and-so calls it. No way. And my eyes perked up like that. And he said, you don't have to call her now, but here's her number. You don't have to call her if you don't want to. I remember my dad distinctly saying that. It was like a test for myself if I wanted to see where I was at, gauge me and stuff like that. And I will never forget, I called her up, we met up, and it wasn't the same and all that. She thought we were just going to get, go back and all that. And she gained like 50 pounds and all this too. But it wasn't that. It was just that things wasn't the same. Same as I left. And I never heard from her again, ever again. But I told this gentleman that, and hopefully he learned from that. And hopefully you guys learn from that too.